Varsity. All right, yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for the support all season. None of this is nothing's possible without all of you, so players, parents, boosters, athletics office, as Coach Davis already kind of alluded to, kind of all sacrificed something to make this a successful season. So us as a coaching staff kind of notice all of those different things, from setting up camps, setting up team dinners, and all of that. So we'll kind of start just with thanking the parents. So parents, thank you for getting your kids to practices on time. I know we were moving the schedule around a little bit, so it's not always possible to get them there, but you guys all were able to make those sacrifices and get them there, and it does mean a lot to us having everyone there on time and ready to go, so it does mean a lot. So players, we can clap it up for the parents. And then next, just want to thank the boosters, especially for camps, team dinners. Again, all of this stuff that goes on, it's not really, the coaches kind of has some input, but it's really the boosters kind of coming up with those recommendations, things to do throughout the year, and it really helps build that bond between all of you. So all the boosters, everyone that's a part of that, thank you again for all the work, especially Jen, just being the president for 2 years, kind of really helped with that transition and bringing me in this year. So really grateful for that and having that support from the Booster Club as well. So we can clap it up for the boosters. And then also just for the table at the games, it's a thankless job. So we notice it. It means a lot to us that we don't have to stress before the game to find out who's going to be doing the book, doing the clock. So it is a thankless job. You may get yelled at, but you do get to hear us, some commentary from the sidelines from us here talking to the rest a little bit. So thank you for doing that. I know it's not always, it doesn't go unnoticed, like I said, for a lot of these things. We do notice all of these things, so this is kind of just trying to thank everyone. If I miss anyone, I'm trying not to, but thank you there, and we'll clap it up for the table. And then just from kind of personal standpoint, thank my fiance Nicole, she's here tonight, but it's long days working and then going to practice and just kind of having that support from her, so she was able to make it, but once again, I'm very grateful for that, to have that support system, so clap it up for her. And then just kind of going down the coaching staff, Coach Pascal said, but was able to help out this year, reached out to help and volunteer, so came up and helped out with Varsity, really helping with our bigs, and I thought there was an immediate improvement really once we made that adjustment to continue to work out, additional 10-15 minutes in practice, just getting that skill work in. So really grateful for that you volunteered to help, and we're at everything, so really great. I'll go through each coach so we can clap it up for them at the end. And then Coach Davis, just for you, having you here, kind of bringing that continuity in the program and staying with the JV kids and doing that and having a really successful season. You really taught them a lot and taught them how to want to win, and that's really something that we're trying to build in this. But you also keep it really fun for them. So the intensity is there, but also that competitiveness and having fun with it, because that's really what this is trying to build those memories that will last, not just after the season, but so you guys can continue to be together there. And then Coach Nick, or Coach Hollingshead, getting the Hollingshead. So Nick actually reached out to me early November to ask if he could volunteer. So that kind of speaks to how much he's bought into this community at Baldwinsville. So it's not every day that you get someone that's a freshman in college wanting to come back and help out. So he did a great job, helped a lot with the scouts and going to different games, things like that. So he took a lot off of our plates, and really did have that support there. So thank you, Nick, or Coach Hollingshead. And then lastly, it goes without saying, Coach Montanaro, kind of first year in the program, brought a lot to the table that we maybe didn't see. So there is that kind of new perspective that's always great with bringing in someone new to the program. Has been successful as a player, been successful as a coach, and really brought in some of those new skills and things to work on and different perspective on a lot of the offense and defense and help build that out. And really does have that connection with the Sting community. So that's going to really help with that, building the program up for years to come. But just want to thank him and all the coaching staff just for being there, having my back the entire year. even starting out the season, maybe not as successful as we wanted, but we just stayed the course. And I thought we really hit our stride by the end of the year there, and that was the goal from day one. All right, so you can clap it up for all that. And then just kind of going to the players, starting with the JV team, I thought you guys had a really successful season. There was really, I could see as you guys were growing throughout the season that you were getting a lot better from, especially kind of recalling the West Hill game, where it maybe wasn't as, it was a really intense game, and kind of getting everyone to buy in that it doesn't matter if you're playing a lot, playing a little, that you do have each other's backs. And I thought that you guys really started to do that at the end of the year, or throughout the year, but that goes to show that you are a tough group and have that resiliency. And then after every game, win or lose, you guys would come by, say, good luck, coach. Give us a fist bump and just get us ready to go for the game. And it, like I said, doesn't go unnoticed, but it does mean a lot to us that you're invested in the program, and it doesn't matter that, okay, the game's over, now it's time to support the other guys in the program. So we thank you for that, and hope to continue to see you build in this program. So you guys did a great job this year. Continue to work so that you are ready to go for next year, but I thought you guys had a really good year. So clap it up for JV. And then just getting to our the varsity level. So I know we started out maybe not as everyone expected, or maybe as people expected, but maybe not as we wanted. So kind of had a rough start to the season, kind of going on these different trips, a lot of away games, which is tough. It's not easy to play on the road all the time, but we kind of challenged you guys, especially after that Florida trip and that ESM tournament, to say this is kind of, you're going to get as much out of it as you put into it. And I think we never had to coach that hard work and toughness and kind of that resiliency that you guys showed throughout the year. You guys were always a really easy team to coach, and that's really hard to say, especially at the high school level, because not everyone's going to play. And there was no one was hanging their heads or getting frustrated that they weren't playing, because they were thinking about the team. And I hope that kind of through all of those experiences and trips, especially the Florida trip, that you guys got to bond and have an experience that's going to last after this season, where you guys are reaching out to each other a lot, hanging out, even after, especially seniors, you graduate, that you're still kind of keeping in touch with each other and build that connection. But I thought once we kind of got through that and got the practices, once we had those team meetings, individually talking with you guys, I thought you guys really bought into that and came with really good feedback for us as a coaching staff. You didn't just kind of say, oh, he's not actually going to listen to what we have to say. I thought you guys all came in with really good feedback, and it really helped us build the rest of the season and where we can improve. Because there is always, as a coaching staff, we're not perfect. We're always going to look for ways to improve, and you guys really came to us, especially with how practices looked, and we changed the way practices look, and I think that is really what helped us be successful, trying to be as competitive as we can every day, and that's a testament to you guys buying in and saying, okay, our input actually does matter and it's going to make a difference. And it did, because once we did that, our practices changed. We started to really defend and change that mindset, and we did it all together. So that's really what I want to thank you guys for bringing it every day and being a really easy group to coach, being really respectful to us, and that kind of goes to the entire program, from the parents down to the players, that this is a great group, that they were respectful the entire season, and I hope had fun. I know at points it's not always going to be fun. There's going to be some frustrating times, but you stay the course, and that's all you can do. You're going to have ups and downs, but it was just trying to stay as steady as possible and stay together. So thank you guys for that. So we'll clap it up for All right, well, now we'll kind of go through I'll have just go one by one, say a little bit, just something kind of quick about the guys. We had our after the season meeting, so got to talk to all of them, from the underclassmen that will be returning to the seniors, kind of seeing if they needed anything from us. But doors always open, so if you ever want to come back, kind of similar to how Coach Hollingshead did, or if you just kind of need a reference for anything, always feel free to reach out. We're here to support you. Just because the season ended, we're not done being your coaches, so we'll kind of be there for you no matter what. So never hesitate to reach out with anything. But you guys will be successful wherever you do, and continue to be resilient. So starting with Carter, so we'll bring Carter up. The Carter we brought up for maybe a week, the end of the year, Coach Davis spoke very highly kind of his attitude and work ethic, and it really showed that he has that capability to play at the next level. Came in, tried to pick up on what we run. We run a lot of different stuff, so it's not easy to pick up, and really bought into what we were doing. Got to learn from these seniors that aren't going to be here, but really did buy in and played hard every day. Hopefully learned a lot, but it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. We throw a lot at you and try to get you to step in, and you responded from that. So, ever heard that expression? Classic. But you'll stay up. We'll do the 3 underclassmen, and then give it all up. Next up, Matthew Pope. So Matt, freshman, was brought up last year as an 8th grader. Learned a lot last year and really taked on a more prominent role this year. So ended up, well, I can say it now, got honorable mention all league as a freshman. So that's really difficult to do, especially when maybe you're younger, you're playing against seniors. So it's really difficult to do. So really successful season. Went through some ups and downs, but really thought that he responded and has that resilient nature, and has a chance to be a really good player and have a really good career here. But not every day that you get to go into kind of have 2 years of varsity experience going into your sophomore year. So really great season, and kind of continue to grow on that and really put in work this off season. Really likes the NBA, so when we were in Florida, was always trying to see what NBA was going on, but really successful season. Good job, Max. All right, and then our last, I guess, underclassman, Zach. Okay, so Zach, as a sophomore, was brought up actually the last day of tryouts. Meant to bring him up earlier. So that was on me. I apologized to him that he was supposed to be brought up earlier. Told him that. He said, "It's all right, coach. I'll come in and work every day." So we kind of set the expectation that there was no playing time guaranteed. That his expectation was to grow as much as he can, learn from the upperclassmen, and really just come to work and work hard. And he really bought into that role, where no one on the team wanted to not be on his team when it came to any rebounding or physicality drill. So whenever we went to a rebounding drill or anything that was physical, he brought it every day when he did that, and really was a rebounding machine. And you can't really teach. That's kind of intangible. It's just having that toughness, and he definitely has that. And as already said, getting ready for lacrosse, some of the defensive principles in basketball help him out. So looking forward to kind of seeing how you do on the lacrosse field, especially for, I guess, Carter too, with baseball. I forgot to mention that, but really expecting big things from you here to go. Coming. Oh, where's that? All right. All right. So now we got our juniors still considered underclassmen. Are they upperclassmen? I don't know. Now we're going to go through our junior class. So starting out with Michael Ryan. All right, so Mike was kind of that unsung hero throughout the year. Never had to question how hard he was going to work in practice, always brought it every single day. Whether it was talking on the defensive end, coaches were getting frustrated that we weren't talking, but really did bring it on that defensive end, and that really showed throughout the year. He continues to be a leader, both on and off the court, and then also helps out with a lot of camps. So really expecting to grow in that role in the future years, but really easy to coach, brings it every day, and you can't teach that kind of the respect that he brings and kind of gathers there. So great job, continuing to expect big things from you as you continue to grow. All right, next up, Christopher Petruno. So Chris actually played on my JV team. He was brought up 2 years ago. He was brought up into that JV team. So really has learned early on kind of what it takes to be successful at this next level, and wasn't afraid to kind of ask. So he kind of asked what he can improve on and questioned specifically about what could be improved upon, which goes a long way that he is kind of going back, watching the film and seeing where he can continue to get better, and not being that stagnant, just kind of staying where he is, and that showed. He really picked it up on the defensive end towards the end of the year and would be guarding some of the other team's best players and is prepared to kind of have a big year again, like I said, but really will be stepping into hopefully more of a leadership role, but great job this year.
Oh, great.
All right, next up, Tyler Hawthorne. So Tyler also was brought up his freshman year, late into the season, so had experience kind of coaching him in the past. But Tyler always brings it no matter what. So he's always going in for rebounds, getting up in your grill, even if it means maybe taking a couple shots to the jaw every once in a while. But definitely really gets in there and gets after it. You never have to question how hard he's going to play. Whether you go in just to go and say, Tyler, I need you to go get a rebound, he'll go get that rebound for you, and he's going to make those types of winning plays that you can't teach, and has a good feel for the game, but always does play hard, whether it be in practice, whether it be in the games. Is, like I said, really coachable. Expecting him to kind of take on a bigger role, but really goes in there and gives it all. And big time baseball player coming up in the spring, so ready to go. All right, next up, Aiden Griffin. So Aiden, kind of can't say enough about Aiden. One of the things I will point to after one of our big losses, forgot to remind the team, one of the things, just kind of going out there, grabbing a couple pieces, trying to help out. Forgot to mention he was in the stands helping pick up everything after the game, and that kind of goes to being that selfless nature. So can't say enough about that. And he's a really smart player, has really good analysis. I remember we had our kind of team meetings, and he comes in with like 5 points, specifically what he thinks we can do better, specific plays within the game. So I think he has, if he wants to, he might have a future in coaching there, but has really good analysis and a really smart player. Similar, expecting big things, trying to grow into that role, but just having that selfless attitude, coming to work every single day, asking questions when it's needed, and working hard. So great job. All right, next up, Michael, Virginia. All right, so Mikey was brought up last year, middle of the season. Really came into a team where he was expected to really grow in practice. And he definitely did, and he would come and ask questions as much as he could to learn. So he really grew into that defensive role this year. So he was tasked with usually guarding one of the other team's best players, and stepped up to the challenge. After he got challenged in practices and in games, kind of going through film, just seeing what can I do to continue to get better, and he really responded, especially later in the season. So. Unfortunate, just wasn't able to be there for the playoff game. Hopefully feeling better now, but would have really liked to see how you can grow and continue to kind of be that force on the defensive end, and continue to grow in all facets of the game. But that really was a game changer, being able to be able to guard some of the other team's best players, which did make a huge difference. So way to step up there. And that's Now finishing up with our seniors, who will sadly be leaving us after this year, but just for this senior class, I know Coach Pascal brings it up a lot too. Even just showing up is kind of 90%, just showing up and being there. And you guys all were showing up to like camps, showing up to practices, and showing up ready to go and supporting the program. So you've helped build this program into what it is and what it will continue to be, but you guys were kind of a stepping stone in that and being there for everything. So thank you for doing that, kind of giving up time, especially your senior year. I know you have a lot going on, So thank you for giving everything to this program and kind of giving it your all. Never had to question your guys' toughness or hard work through the 3 years that I've been with you guys. And it really, you guys did bring that toughness and show that resiliency throughout the year. So great job. We'll start out with Benjamin Leeton. So Ben was brought up his sophomore year. Just kind of saw in the open gyms early on that he had a great feel for the game, especially on the defensive end, and that was kind of the role he took on early on, where he is a really good help side defender and makes plays. So that's really where he was sophomore year. Junior year started to add a little bit more, trying to get on the offensive end and go finish around the rim. Still continue to be that playmaker really on that defensive end. And then senior year really asked him to take on more of the leadership role, get on guys, and kind of have us as a coaching staff's back. And he would always come into the huddles thinking, yes, we're going to go win this game no matter what. Down, winning by 10, down by 20, it doesn't matter. We're going in and kind of going down fighting the entire time. So thank you for that, taking on that leadership role, and expecting to see that on the baseball field coming up this year. And be pitching a little bit, hopefully make it out, and still trying to get in the batting cage. But great job, Ben. Smiley's not here, but Smiley, just save it, I guess. But Smiley definitely, just quickly, came into this year, especially on at tryouts, and had took on a more vocal role. We kind of, similar to Ben, challenged him to be more of that vocal leader, and really did come in and really pick it up on that defensive end and be that vocal leader both on the court and in practice. So it really made a big step this year. All right, next up is Alexander Scapura. Alex is another one along with a lot of the players that showed up to everything. He was at every single camp to support the program, and he was there kind of all throughout the summer, showing up to open gyms. I remember talking to Coach Davis after the sophomore year, so he's going into his junior year, where he really wanted to make the team, and he was showing up to every open gym, putting in as much work as possible to get there, and it really showed in the way he played and being able to make the team and then really have that leadership role. Talking to guys in practice and teaching, because he was with us or with me for that first JV season, where we kind of were starting to build that, put in some of those basic principles, and he kind of helped build that from there. But really easy to coach. Is a Notre Dame fan though, so had a little bit back and forth throughout the Florida trip about Indiana, so it's all right. But great job. Really excited to see where you go in the future, so great job. Josh. So similar, Josh was one of our best camp coaches actually. Got the championship at camps, but another one that showed up and really just, I think, enjoyed being here. Anytime that we would be there after practice, he would stay and try to get up as many shots. Him and Alex would always be in there rebounding for each other, just continuing to kind of work on their game. But also, I think, just enjoying being around basketball. And I challenged Josh this summer to really be more aggressive and go after the ball and play with a little more confidence at that Oswego team camp, and he responded. He would go out, and it really improved as a player, but then also kind of getting on guys in practice and being that physical force and getting on guys and making them better. So Josh, great job. Ty. So Ty was another player that was brought up his sophomore year. Really learned a lot through that sophomore year, maybe not playing as much, but really learning in practice and some of those fundamentals. Played and took on more of a leadership role this last year, but I think this year was really the biggest jump that I've seen, especially from that leadership perspective and that positivity perspective. So in practice, whether things weren't going well or in games, he was always trying to get guys going. And he did that a lot through the way he played. So very physical on the defensive end, which is what we challenged him to do, that you're going to be up in their guard all game trying to make them uncomfortable, and really responded, especially late in the season, where he was similar, kind of getting on their best player, trying to cause steals, cause havoc. And then also as that grew, the offensive game came with it. So really developed that floater that's really tough to teach and really got that down. But really on the defensive end was a really great defender and really enjoyed coaching him. So great job, Ty. Matthew Young, MJ. All right, so MJ, another one that was brought up as a sophomore, has started all 3 years and has kind of been, I'll say, like the backbone of the program. So has really been there from the start, being there on the defensive end and learning that, and then trying to teach the other guys as they came up. So really did a great job, both on the court, off the court, trying to keep the guys going, but really continued to grow as we saw in the summer to now throughout the season, and that's why he was unanimous first team all league this year. So it doesn't matter like where MJ's at, he's always going to work hard no matter where he is, whether it's in school, in gym class, or on the basketball court. So he did a great job all season bringing it, even when maybe things were a little bit more frustrating. He did always bring it and continues to be kind of a player that can play at that next level, and I'm excited to see what he does at that next level. But the one thing is kind of similar to kind of all these guys. It's on the defensive end where that everything started and everything grew from there. So for you younger guys, kind of take notice of all these guys up here when Stiernan comes up. But they really bought into the defensive end of the court, and it goes a long way because we can teach as much offense as we want, but if you're not getting stops and playing hard on that end, it's really hard to go the other way. So great job, MJ. All right, and last up, Tiernan. And then Tiernan got our positivity project, so kind of being that positive player throughout. So Tiernan was another one that was on the JV team as a sophomore, and has taken on that leadership role every single season. As a sophomore, was really that kind of go-to leader, having that voice in the locker room and on the court, able to play all 5 positions, and challenged him, and probably was the one always, especially that JV season when he was in there, he'd come to the bench and be like, "Coach, I need one." So don't see that often where a kid is playing so hard that he needs to come out of the game. So that kind of shows that he was giving it all every time he was out there. So another one kind of started last year. Another thing not going unnoticed, kind of similar to Aiden this year. But going in after the games and just helping out, pick up in the stands, kind of doing that without us ever saying anything. So that goes a long way. I think everyone in the community sees that. We even had after the game kind of coming up and talking to us and saying, "Oh, did you tell them to kind of go help pick up the stand?" Not really, but they kind of just started to do it themselves, and then just from that leadership role, trying to do that and help out as much as you can. But really excited to see going in for lacrosse, but also see what you do in the future in Coast Guard. So great job, Tiernan. Another thank you to all of the seniors, because they put in the time in the program when things were going well, when things weren't going as well. They had faith in us, I think, to build this in the right direction. They could have just kind of said, "We're not going to listen to you in your first year. It doesn't matter, this is our senior year." But that was never a question. From day one, they were always listening, respectful, and helped be coaches on the court, which meant a lot to us. It made our jobs a lot easier. So we thank you for that, and the underclassmen that will be returning. If you ever need any feedback or anything, feel free to reach out to these guys. They've been successful, and they've done it for now 3 or 4 years in the program. So really excited to see where these guys go after this, but I know you guys will be successful, continue to be resilient, and continue to show up. All right, great job. And then I can do just thank you to everyone for being here tonight and continued support throughout the season. As I kind of said, first year. It can always kind of go one of two ways, and I think it went a great way where we had support of everyone in the community. It started off maybe not as successful, but I'm really grateful for the support that we have here. And I think I got Matt and Aiden coming up. Matt and Aiden got a speech. All right?
Good evening, everyone. We just want to take a minute to say a big thank you to the two MVPs who don't even wear jerseys. This is Mrs. Young and Mrs. Capura. Mrs. Capura, we've got a big special shout out. You didn't just help with the concession stand, you basically turned it into a well-run operation at your Bridgeville small restaurant. You stocked it, organized it, ran it like a boss, and made sure it was ready for every single home game in camp. We're pretty sure you knew the candy inventory better than we knew the playbook. Somehow kept everything running smoothly, while also keeping everyone fed and happy, which, as we all know, is no small task during game nights. Meanwhile, Mrs. Young, you've been everywhere at once. Fundraisers handled, team needs covered, boosters chaos managed. We're convinced you might have superpowers, or at least a really good planner and a limited coffee supply. Thanks to you, we've had some awesome support, new gear, and we're afforded the opportunity to travel to Orlando to play. We're pretty sure you put more hours than some of us spent at the free throw line, and that's saying something. But in all seriousness, your dedication, hard work, and love for the team are more than we can say. You've made a huge difference, and we are beyond grateful. So thank you to Ms. Skipper and Mrs. Young for being the real MVPs this season. Even if you don't shoot threes or block shots, you definitely carry the team in your own way.
All right, parents, now that we've all celebrated a great season, we've got one tiny little thing left to talk about. Next year's Booster Club. Now we know what you're thinking, not it, but before you all suddenly avoid eye contact or pretend you just got an emergency text, hear us out. Our incredible Booster Club MVPs, Mrs. Young and Mrs. Capura, have officially earned their retirement, probably with a beach chair and a snack stand they didn't have to stock themselves. But now we need new recruits, that's right, you. We're looking for parents to step up next season to help with fundraising, events, concessions, and all the little things that make this program run like clockwork. You don't need special skills, just a willingness to help, a sense of humor, and maybe the ability to handle a box of Gatorade without throwing out your bag. And listen, we'd really love for you to volunteer willingly, but if not, well, we'll start assigning shifts based on who leaves the gym the fastest after games. You may find yourself in charge of selling 50-50 raffle tickets if you don't respond. And if things get really desperate, we might just elect people by clapping and pretending it was unanimous. No one wants to see what happens when a bunch of teenagers try to run the concession stand themselves. So consider this your friendly but slightly desperate invitation to join the team behind the team. We promise you'll have fun, meet great people, and earn legendary status among the players, and possibly free pizza privileges. Let's keep this program strong, and let's make Mrs. Capura and Mrs. Young proud by filling their shoes so they don't have to come back just to check if we stocked the candy right. Be on the lookout for an email regarding the next Booster Club meeting date and ways to volunteer.
Thank you, everybody. The seniors, the Booster Club has given you guys these gifts up here, so we didn't hand them out, but you guys obviously can tell who's who up here. So, Amy Pope, I want to thank her. She's done the social media all season. She also created the beautiful framed pictures of some of the great pictures from Kelly Hutella and Colleen. I do want to say the boys, their hands might be a little cramped. I had them sign. We're sending thank yous to all of our sponsors for this year and all of those extra people that have helped make the season successful. And then I just wanted to say a thank you myself to everybody. This has been, yeah, I'm gonna cry. A big part of our lives as the Youngs. We're big basketball people, and we've loved every minute of MJ's time playing, as well as our girls. And it's really crazy to see this chapter end. I know that everybody thinks I've done so much, but I am best at being a big mouth and delegating. So I'm also, I'm one of 6 girls, and I learned that from years of growing up with all of them. So I loved Aiden and Matt, you guys being involved to say it's really about the kids, right? And Amy and Josh have been 2 huge contributors to the success of what has happened this year. I went to Josh and I said, I really want to send MJ to Florida with his team this year. And Josh was like, yeah, we can make that happen. We can make that happen. So thank you, Josh, for supporting me, for putting up with all my text messages, Christy, for letting me text him all the time, and being the sidekick that you were. Diane, thank you so much for everything you have done. Diane's been so great, taking a lot off my plate throughout the season and beyond, especially like camps and, like you said, it went well beyond the concessions. Also, like giving back to the community, having those community nights where we donated things to the Baldwinsville Volunteer Center that she's so involved in. And so again, I think we've done more than just send the kids to Florida. We've also given back to the community, and the community's been giving back to us. So, and I thank everybody from the clock people to 50-50 Matt for running that. All those little things have made a big difference in how we've been able to succeed. I know Diane wanted to thank you for putting the signs up every morning. They would go out at what time? 5 in the morning to put signs through the snow. He's got a great system where he puts those game day signs out, plus helping with tearing down concessions, Jen and you, every game, home game. So those little things make a big difference. And I hope that you guys can continue to be able to give back to the boys, to be able to take trips and that. And coaches, thank you. It's been a pleasure, all you've done for not just my son, but all of them. They're like the easiest crew to work with. So thank you for that. And best of luck to everybody. And there's cake back there that we handed out to some, but there's still cake, so please help yourself. And that's a wrap, kids. Thank you.